Welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed at midday to what's happening in the politics. Shoving, pushing, and feisty scene at the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party as Mr. Samayanwu and Ude Okoye lay claim to the National Secretary position at the Board of Trustees meeting. Former presidential candidate and rights activist Mr. Omoyele Sowore arraigned by the Nigerian police over allegation of cybercrime at the Federal High Court, Abuja. And the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, says it will conduct investigations into the recent emergency landing incident involving Max Airline after the airline was suspended. Welcome again to the program. It's your midday all-access pass to what's happening in politics and in the polity. Let's get things started. From what played out at the Federal High Court, Abuja, involving the convener of the Revolution Now movement, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, was arraigned by the Nigerian police on charges of cybercrime before Justice Musa Liman. He's accused of posting picture of the Inspector General of Police on his X-handle where he commented mediocrity, incompetence, corruption, and a country run by characterless people cannot make progress. He pleaded not guilty to all of the charges when they were read to him and was granted administrative bail, but rejected the bail conditions. Meanwhile, some civil society organizations staged a protest outside the court premises demanding for his release, as well as other detained and bad governance protesters.
We are coming here because many of them who came out to struggle, they are still in jail. Some of them have been released. They are being charged for terrorism. Can you imagine, the president who knows about civil society, that the president is the one who is orchestrating this? The president and his people, because the people cannot act unless the president tells them. Our colleagues, 11 of them in Abuja are being charged for terrorism. People say we are hungry. Innocent Nigerians, what did they do? You ask them, they want to protest. You say, go to the National Stadium. People went there, and many people were being shot at. During the military, we struggled to bring democracy to Nigeria. During the military, nobody was shot at. But now we are having a democracy without democracy itself. We need to end bad governance. What we are asking for is to release all those who are detained across the country, and drop all the charges across the country. Our colleagues in Kaduna, they were kept for 10 weeks by DSS and released. They only took, can you imagine keeping people 10 weeks without trial? And now we have our colleagues here. Now Sowore is being picked for saying what? We are asking that you drop all the charges, enable Nigerians to go and demonstrate the way they want.
All right, that's the voice of civil society, and it will be there. Now let's move on to that festering crisis in the opposition as chaos broke out at the People's Democratic Party's National Secretariat following a clash at the party's 79th Board of Trustees meeting yesterday. Tension fled after Senator Samuel Anyanwu and Mr. Sunday Ude Okoye, both laying claim to the position of the National Secretary, clashed at the start of the meeting. Mr. Ode was reported to have arrived at the venue of the meeting before Senator Anyanwu and the acting national chairman, Damagum, but was forced out after Anyanwu's arrival.
This meeting of the People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees is holding at the instance of the party's national chairman to address issues that are threatening the unity of the party.
Can raise the point and then we'll ask
In attendance are former governors and some members of the PDP National Working Committee, including the acting national chairman, Mr. Damagum, Mr. Samuel Anyanwu, and Ude Okoye, who are both laying claim to the office of the National Secretary of the party.
agenda for today.
The chairman of the Board of Trustees decries the inability of the leaders of the party to resolve their crisis and asked the National Working Committee to ensure that the National Executive Council meeting is convened in February.
Let me express my profound disappointment over the crisis currently rocking the leadership of the National Working Committee. As elder statesmen and women, leaders who hold the trust of the generality of our party members and the public, it is disheartening that these issues have not been resolved. In the light of these challenges, I again urge the National Working Committee to honor its words and convene the NEC meeting as scheduled in February 2025.
The chairman of the
However, the acting national chairman of the party is blaming leaders of the party, including some members of the Board of Trustees, for the Lincoln crisis.
Most of this crisis that you see today within the NWC is propelled by our leaders that are supposed to unite us. Some of us are also complicit, and I want to use this opportunity to caution us, caution our leaders. You may have ambition, but you don't ride on a dead horse to reach your destination.
The meeting then moves into a closed-door session with both Mr. Anyanwu and Okoye, who are laying claim to the office of the PDP National Secretary, in attendance. Outside the gate, supporters of Mr. Okoye engaged security officers in a heated argument for refusing them access to the compound. Inside the meeting room, a fight broke out as Mr. Ude Okoye ran out of the hall. The meeting is disrupted for over 30 minutes until a combined team of police and the army arrive to restore order. The PDP continues to grapple with internal leadership crisis, with some members seeking a replacement for the Damagum-led National Working Committee, and the latest face-off further widens the existing crack that is threatening the unity of the party.
Well, that's the core of our conversation today. And I'm being joined in the program by Emmanuel Sat in those NWC meetings. Mr. Ologbondiyan, former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, joins us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Ologbondiyan, thank you so much for coming through this morning, or this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Geoffrey.
Mr. Ologbondiyan, we've been on this table time and again, and we're here again. It feels like it just keeps getting worse. What is going on?
Well, you have rightly placed the situation that it appears that it's just getting worse. And I cannot but agree with you that it appears to be getting worse. Because I think what happened yesterday, to say the least, is very disgraceful. And it's unfortunate that those who claim to be the leaders of the party are now being responsible for the kind of mayhem that was witnessed inside the hallowed National Executive Council Hall, where decisions, far-reaching decisions concerning the party ought to be taking place. But what did we see? This cough, attack. It's so unfortunate that the People's Democratic Party, which I covered as a reporter, the People's Democratic Party, where I was elected as a National Public Secretary, can be reduced to the streets. It's unfortunate.
So what exactly is, now we understand that from what played out, yes, Mr. Ude Okoye had arrived, because so that we help the audience walk through this without getting into the nitty-gritty of the law. We understand that Mr. Anyanwu had gone, of course, gone to contest governorship position, and the party, the region, where it comes from, had appointed Mr. Ude Okoye to take over his position. Well, he came back and still continued that position. That became a contentious issue. 20th of December, I remember vividly that the court in Enugu, Court of Appeal, decided in favor of Ude Okoye. And then 24th, I think it was passed on to the NWC. Mr. Ologbondiyan even read saying they recognize Ude Okoye. But I think there was a stay of execution filed. And I understand that the Court of Appeal in Abuja had said status quo antebellum should be maintained, the state of affairs before the war. So perhaps that simply meant that whatever had happened before this crisis, let's maintain it. So they are saying that everybody should wait till the Supreme Court decides. So what is the interpretation of Mr. Okoye as well as Mr. Anyanwu on this particular decision of the court? Because that is the bone of contention here before we get to other issues.
Okay, going into what happened yesterday, let's take it up from there.
Okay.
I understood that when Honorable Ude Okoye got to the meeting, because he was invited to that meeting. He's not a member. Originally, Ude Okoye is not a member of the BOT. But having assumed, technically through the Court of Appeal in Enugu, having assumed the position, he was invited by the Board of Trustees to attend their meeting with a hope, because I've spoken to a number of the members of the Board of Trustees, with a hope that, they can hear from side A and hear from side B, possibly take a decision, and if they cannot take a decision, possibly see what they can do. But unfortunately, Ude Okoye was attacked right inside the National Executive Committee hall, the NEC hall. And that's why you can see through the video that he had to run out. Reports said that he was attacked, he was severely beaten, and he had to leave the venue and rushed out. However, let me give it to the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Senator Adolphus Wabara, then the secretary of the Board of Trustees, Senator Ahmed Mekafi, and all the members of the Board of Trustees who were present yesterday, who insisted that for the meeting to continue, Ude Okoye has to be brought back into the hall. And he was brought back, and the meeting continued. But having laid that, Geoffrey, if you look at the trajectory of the issue coming from the courts, you have rightly positioned it by explaining that Senator Sam Anyanwu went to run for governorship election in Imo State. The southeast geopolitical zone of the People's Democratic Party met in Enugu and nominated Honorable Ude Okoye as his successor. Senator Sam Anyanwu went for the election, unfortunately lost the election, and came back to occupy and said he has returned to occupy his seat. Expectedly, the matter went to court. Ude Okoye went to the Enugu High Court. Anyanwu went to Abuja High Court. Anyanwu got his judgment, Court of Coordinate Jurisdiction. Anyanwu got his judgment, Ude Okoye got his judgment. Ude Okoye tried to file through the party and say he must return. He couldn't get it. Honorable Sam Anyanwu now went to the Court of Appeal in Enugu to file an appeal against the judgment of the High Court in Enugu. Unfortunately, he lost that appeal. So having lost that appeal, Ude Okoye presented himself to the party. And like rightly quoted also, Ologbondiyan came out and said the party has accepted Ude Okoye. But Senator Anyanwu also went for a stay of execution. I'm not a lawyer, but I'll explain what lawyers have said. Went for a state of execution in the Court of Appeal. And the president of the Court of Appeal brought the matter before our honorable self in Abuja and gave a decision on the status quo antebellum that you have said, and also said that decision on the stay of execution will be taken on the 27th of January. Geoffrey, today is the 30th of January. The life of what the lawyer said, because I'm not a lawyer, what the lawyer said is that the life of that status quo, which is expected to expire on the 27th, has already expired. So this left the party in a quandary as regards what to do. Because if Senator Anyanwu has proceeded to the Supreme Court, he will need to wait for the outcome of the Supreme Court decision before he will say that, oh, okay, I won in the Supreme Court, I want to come back to my seat. But that's not the situation as we have it. Unfortunately, the BOT tried to intervene. It resulted in what we have watched. But in spite of that, and I said earlier, like I said earlier, the leadership of the BOT and the members who were present yesterday said, irrespective of the internal fighting, they must reach a decision. So they waited until Ude Okoye was brought back to the hall. And they listened to both sides. And at the end of the day, they said, okay, Samayahu, you bring the court, the judgment of the court, as documented, that has given you stay of execution. And they told Ude Okoye, okay, you bring your court of appeal judgment. And they set up a committee chaired by the former Minister of Special Duties, Tani Muturaki, SAN, and created a committee around him. They should go and look into the matter and bring it back to the Board of Trustee meeting. I think that's my understanding.
Okay, so from what I pick from it appears that the Court of Appeal perhaps did not sit on Monday, so that left everybody in a bit of a quagmire. So right now, we don't know who to refer to who. As far as their position is concerned, we hope that by next week or in the coming days, we'll be able to refer to who is who in that particular position of National Secretary. But there are other issues I want you to speak to. Yeah, go ahead. You can land, then I ask my question. Well,
yeah, before you continue, Geoffrey, before you continue, I think that from the expectations in the party haven't come out to say that it recognized Ude Okoye as expressed by the National Public Secretary and the spokesperson of the party. I think majority of party members are going with Ude Okoye. But they will furthermore, they will wait for what the Supreme Court will decide. But if there's anything called decency, if there's still anything called decency within the arena of the party, I think Samayahu should go and prosecute his matter at the Supreme Court and allow the party to function. That is my honest opinion.
All right, let's move on from this Anyanwu Ude Okoye issue for a moment. And so I want us to piggyback on some of the remarks made by Senator Nwabara, the chairman of the BOT, as well as the acting national chairman. It sounded to me like a blame game. Senator Nwabara said, look, I'm disappointed with the NWC. Perhaps you guys are not able to put your acts together, and it's causing embarrassment to the party. And he did insist on that NEC meeting that must hold next month. We're going to come to that in a moment. But when Mr. Damagum took over, he said, the leadership of the party as well, the elders of the party, including members, some members of the BOT, are responsible for the infighting within the NWC. I needed you to give some interpretation to this blame game between BOT chairman and the acting national chairman.
Geoffrey, there's no need going into the blame game. I think we should position the situation the way it is. Geoffrey, on this same platform between you and I don't want to go into the issue of NEC any longer. The lie they hold, the lie they don't hold. Like Bala Mohammed warned, the leaders of the party are at the door point of exiting. And that is the honest truth. Take it or leave it. That's the situation in which Damagum has pushed the party to. So it is, to me, a lazy man argument for you to begin to apportion blame to others, whereas we are the architect of the crisis. You were brought in as acting chairman through the provisions of the PDP constitution as amended in 2017. That's how you were brought in. Now, respect the position of that constitution. You are saying you are blaming other people. You put your foot on my own foot. And I said, take away your foot because you are matching me. You are telling me that, oh, you are sorry. But you have refused to remove your foot from mine. I mean, to me, it's odious. And I don't see any sincerity in what Ambassador Ilyasu Damagum said at the BOT. How can he come around and be saying that, oh, leaders, even members of BOT, revert back to your own position as Deputy National Chairman and allow the North Central to bring a substantive chairman and let us see whether the challenges in the party will not abate. It's a straightforward matter. There's no need for pretense. No room for it.
So the argument, Mr. Ologbondiyan, the argument, I have heard Nyesom Wike respond, the FCT minister respond to this. His argument, and you're the party man here, you've been a journalist and a party man, so you understand both sides. So he had said that positions, and you have to give me precedence to this, positions occupied by elected officials have to be replaced by elected officials. So his argument is the fact that since the other chairman was removed, the former senator, and now Damagum was taking his position, that if there's going to be a replacement for an elected position, there should be an election, not just an appointment, not somebody being appointed to rule or lead an elected official. I want you to make sense of that according to the law of the PDP.
Geoffrey, that's an argument of convenience. Honestly. We all know it now. Okay, let me even give you a more recent example. Did Damagum go to did he go to any convention to become acting national chairman? That's the question. Was he elected acting national chairman at the convention? The answer is no. He became acting national chairman by virtue of the fact that he was elected deputy national chairman for the North. So, when Senator Yoche Ayu vacated the office, Section 47(6) is unambiguous. It is clear. It says it clearly. Where a vacancy occurs in a zone, it didn't say in a region. It did not say where a vacancy occurs in a region. He said when a vacancy occurs in a zone, that zone, or the area. Because when people come and talk and they are just making arguments to suit their intent, it's different. He said that zone or that area shall produce a replacement through the executive at that level. It's clear. It's clear. There's no argument. There's no argument. And even in the aspect where they are talking about, I can't remember that section now because I didn't come with my constitution. Even in that segment where they are talking about, constitutionally about convention, it is clearly stated in that provision. This is without hurting the provision of 47(6). Clearly. You see, look, you can say that, you don't like this person to be your chairman. I don't have problem with that. You can say, it's Mr. A that I would have preferred to be chairman. That's welcoming. But go to what the law says, go to what the rule says, and go and abide by it. And that is why, sorry, Geoffrey. Geoffrey, that is why in our own NWC, under the leadership of Uche Secondus will consistently make a demand at meetings. What does the Constitution say? What does the Constitution say? What is the rule? What is the law? Let us go by what the Constitution says. That is the position under our own NWC. Okay. But the dimensions that the party has assumed now is totally unfortunate.
Two quick questions I want you to respond to before I wind down. Are you worried that some members or top leaders of your party may just be uncomfortable and leave because it's weakening the position of the opposition, which is not healthy for democracy generally? Are there persons in the party, like governors, that you feel that may leave the party if this festers?
Geoffrey, am I worried? I have attended meeting of the party where respected leaders have stood up to say that, look, if you push us out, we will go. That's the honest truth. Because when you drop the Constitution, the guiding principle, the rule that the party needs to live by, need to abide itself to, and you are now following the dictates and the whims of your own mind, you are indirectly telling those who want to follow the rule to get out. But there's no problem. And Bala Mohammed, the chairman of the Governors Forum, openly declared that he's worried that people are leaving. And that's the honest truth. So there's nothing to ask me whether I'm worried or not, Geoffrey, my brother.
Okay. So in your view...
That is the convergence
in your view, I know you mentioned it in passing. In 30 seconds as we wind down, what is the way forward? Because just a moment. I know you don't want to speak about NEC, and I don't want to prophesy bad prophecy about the NEC. So I'll leave NEC for another time, because I've consistently said neck holding is a very. I don't see PDP holding neck.
You are happy that you are winning. You are happy that you are winning converts. You are happy that you are winning converts. Anyway, the pathway is very clear. Let what is justiciable in the party happen. Allow the North Central to produce a successor. One. This matter, Senator Ayawu should go and pursue his matter in the Supreme Court. Allow Ude Okoye, since our matter in PDP now is being decided by the court, allow the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Enugu to stand. Pending when you bring your own judgment from the Supreme Court. That is the simplest way, that is the way out. But I hope and I pray that when all these things are done, there will still be people left in the party.
Well, as a political journalist, I don't want opposition to die. At no time should opposition die in any democratic dispensation. Whether the opposition is PDP or APC, opposition is healthy for democracy. So we hope that the PDP can put its acts together and form a good opposition for Nigeria, so that it doesn't fall off.
Also pray for other parties. Also pray for other parties where implosions are waiting to happen.
That's why I say opposition.
Not just opposition, even the governing party. Yeah. Even governing party, implosion is going to happen in the APC. Wait for it. It's
I don't know about that. I don't know about
I know, that's what I'm telling you, and I'm saying it publicly. There will be implosion.
Okay. We're here to report whatever is happening. Implosion, explosion, as long as there's nobody being killed, it's fine. Ologbondiyan is a former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey. Thank you.
And just before we go, let's tell you that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has announced it will conduct investigations into the recent emergency landing incident involving Max Air. This comes as the airline announced a suspension of its domestic operations for 3 months, effective January the 31st, 2025, amidst safety concerns. In an exclusive interview with Channels Television in Abuja, the DG of the Bureau, Mr. Alex Bade, explains that the nose gear of the aircraft collapsed upon landing at the Malam Aminu International Airport.
The tire didn't burst. On landing, the nose gear collapsed. So just to clear that, it wasn't a burst tire, but the nose gear collapsed on landing in Kano. That's what happened to the airplane. We've deployed our team. Our GO team was there last night. They recovered the black box. It's the flight data recorder, cockpit voice recorder, which is on its way to Abuja from Kano as we speak. The crew went for the toxicology test this morning. They were unable to do it last night as no hospitals were open to test them. So the tox screen was done today. I'm waiting for the results from my investigators. We have 4 investigators in Kano on scene at the moment. That's about all we have for now. We'll know more as the day progresses. I am as concerned as everybody else. I'm even more alarmed at the state of these incidents. Thankfully, there's not been any loss of life thus far. I spoke to the regulator today, this Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, and now we're instituting a committee now to sit here and explore the wider ranging issues. We'll be having workshops with stakeholders in the aviation industry to find out root causes of these issues. But I am aware that the airline went through an audit recently. I'm not privy to the report of the audit, but I'll be the NCA.
Well, that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.